Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome if you're new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a really cute spring 3D peep and 3D flowers nail set. This was originally for Easter, but I didn't get the video up in time, but you know, it's still pretty cute for the spring as well, and I love how they turned out. I'm not really planning to do a long in-depth voiceover, so I'm just going to be in and out the video of the parts where I need to explain a little bit. And right now I did just go ahead and pick out my nail sizes. The nails I'm using will be linked down below, but these are the 3XL no C curve tips from 𝚙𝚚𝚘𝚍𝚘. I'm also using their jelly tip builder gel and their sensor light to apply these. If you see my nails shiny, that's because I do have a peel off base. If you are new to my channel, I create a lot of content like in the week, so I do want to pop these off, or you know, not have to like file them off and cut them down. I have a box like full of my old nail designs, which I do like to save. And speaking of my nail box, I did see a lot of comments where you guys would want me to record a video where I'm just like picking out at random a few of my old designs from my box and like recreating them in a different type of way. I feel like that would be very interesting to watch, so I'll have that planned for sometime soon, or whenever I can get to it. But yeah, I am just applying my nails using that jelly tip builder gel, and I just keep them under the light for about 5 seconds. I did edit some of it out, but once I finish applying all of them, I do pop them into my bigger light just to make sure everything is nice and cured. And I am going to be cutting the nails down just a little bit, but as you guys see, I'm only going just below the 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍𝚘 logo because I do want these nails to still be long. I wanted to make sure I had enough room for my 3D nail art, and you know, just not make the nail art so cramped together, just to make sure I had enough space. So now that I cut my nails down, and these are the acrylics I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using this Peeps color here from bombnails. I did unbox her Easter collection in a few videos back, and I was just like, I have to use it, and I'm going to be sculpting out a 3D peep on my nail, and it was just like the perfect shade. Like, could it not be any more perfect? And this one here I'm also going to be using from 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍𝚘. It's called fairytale. And see, I'm just going to be doing some basic acrylic application for today. I also have these little holographic rainbowish type of glitters from Ellen Nailed It. I wasn't really sure if I was going to use these, but I did using them, so I'll just go ahead and mention it here. But I wasn't really sure at the moment, but I did go ahead and set them out with the rest of the things. And then of course I have my 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍 clear to encapsulate later. I'm also using my 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍 number 12 Kolinsky brush in the pink color. This is so pretty. I love the handle on it. And for my monomer, I did run out of my 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍 monomer, so here I'm just unboxing my new jug, and I'm going to be putting some of this into my damping dish, and once I do so, we can go ahead and get started with the application. So to start off my application, like I said, I'm going to be doing some really simple nails. I'm going to be doing some ombres on all of my nails except my middle nail. And this yellow color here, which is called Peeps from bombnails, will be on the tips of my nails. And yeah, just go ahead and start by picking out a medium to larger size bead. I do like these to be a little bit more on the medium side though, because whenever I'm doing ombres, I don't like to make the first color like really thick, because then what color I use like to ombre into it, it'll just be thick, and then I have to encapsulate, and the nail is just going to end up like really thick. So I try to keep my first color really thin, just to the point where I'm getting that pigment on there, so you can see the color throughout that part. And I will continue doing all of my yellows, of course, on all of my nails, and then I'll go back and do the second color for my ombre. But yeah, I'm just making sure that I really keep this part thin. Also make sure to keep my sides straight. That's going to be a really important part when it comes to nail filing. It doesn't take super long either, so you want to make sure to like swipe down the sides of the nails and make sure that it's like straight and not too bulky. And you will see me do that throughout my application. And also really quickly, I did want to mention, I did notice I hit 80,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for subscribing. If you are new to my channel and you're watching this video, thank you so much. Thank you so much to my OG subscribers who've been watching me from the beginning. I really appreciate it. And I will be announcing my giveaway sometime next week, because recently my plans haven't been going how I want them to. I have to leave at a certain time later in the day, so I'm not able to like finish a lot of my videos or take pictures or do voiceovers, you know, everything like that. So I haven't really been getting my videos up on time, which this video was supposed to go up yesterday. So yeah, I am a little bit behind schedule, so I'll be announcing everything next week. And plus I still haven't decided if I want to do an Amazon gift card or just pick a few things I have here in my nail shed. I don't know which is going to be easier, because like if I do decide to pick out things, I'm just going to be so indecisive. Like I'm going to want to give you guys so many good things. Like I don't know, it's going to be a hard decision. But also the Amazon gift card, that would be really great. That way you guys can pick out something that you like. You know, it doesn't even have to be nail related. So yeah, you can just have the freedom to choose. But this is a nail channel, so you know, I kind of want it to still be nail related. So yeah, I just haven't really figured that out yet. But once I do, everything will be in the video next week. Also, I want to let you guys know in advance, you will have to have some type of like Instagram, or if you don't mind leaving your email in the comments. We're gonna have to figure something out that accommodate the situation, because I had this problem in the past where one of my giveaways, I left my email in the comments, and someone else actually contacted me claiming to be the actual winner, and it wasn't. So it was just like a really big mix-up. And if you are one of my OG subscribers, then you know about that situation, and I do not want to have a repeat of that like ever again. And it almost got sent to the wrong person, so you will need some form of like Instagram of some way I can contact you and not you contact me. So sorry for the ones who don't have Instagram. That's just gonna be the way it has to be. And the reason I'm letting you guys know now, because if you don't want to leave your email in the comments, you can go ahead and create an Instagram like just specifically for my videos. And also it wouldn't hurt that you follow me and like a few pictures while you're there. And yeah, so I just wanted to mention that really quick, let you guys know the process of my giveaway. Yes, I'm still gonna do it. It will be announced next week. I'm not really sure how long it's gonna last. Like I said, everything will be listed in that video. Also, it will be down below in the comments. I'll mention it in the video. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure you are subscribed and you turn on my post notifications so that you get notified each and every time I upload, so you will know it as quick as possible. And here I'm just finishing up my ombre. I love the way bombnails acrylic powder works. They're really smooth, like they're really easy to work with, very beginner friendly. And honestly, I wouldn't mind doing a giveaway with just her brand, because I really recommend her powders. Like her products are just so good. And I would honestly recommend, if you like, no matter your skill level, if you are a beginner, intermediate, advanced, like you definitely need to try bombnails acrylics. They are just so amazing. But like I said, all of my other nails are going to be ombres. I'm going to be doing a single color nail using this fairytale color from 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘 on my middle finger. So I'm gonna try to go in with a bigger bead. Whenever I'm doing full coverage nails, I do like to go in with the biggest bead possible just to get it covered a little bit faster. I'm also just trying to like work on my speed when it comes to acrylic nails, so doing long nails like this help me with it, so that way I can pick up bigger beads and just, you know, try to get that consistency right. Just try to build up the nail using less beads as possible. And with this color, I'm actually going to keep it pretty thin. I know usually in all of my other videos, I like to build it up using the color, but for some reason, I was just in the mood to encapsulate. Probably because I had to end up encapsulating all of my other ombre nails. So I was just like, what's one more nail? Like, what's going to be the difference? So I just went ahead and kept that more on the thinner side. And then I did go back in and encapsulate a little bit. But yeah, once I finish this, I'll be going in, adding on my glitters and finishing my ombre. So once I was done doing my middle nail, I did this here to my thumb off camera. I did incorporate some of those glitters, as you can see, peeking through. I added on my ombre color and also encapsulated. Whenever I'm not sure, you guys know I love to do stuff off camera or like try it on one nail first and make sure I completely like it. So what I did was I did that off camera on my thumb, and here's basically how I did it. Also just tweaking it a little bit, making it better than how my thumb looks. So I did go in with a tiny bead of clear just right on top of where my yellow is, and then I'm adding those glitters. I'm gonna try to make it sort of like ombreing down into the tip of my nail, if that makes sense. Like you kind of see it a little bit more opaque where my ombre stops, and then it just falls like down the nail a little bit. And then once I finish, I'm gonna add another clear bead of acrylic right on top of that, because whenever I'm doing an ombre on top of a glitter, sometimes if the color has too much pigment, or you know, whatever the case may be, sometimes they kind of like seep underneath the glitters and it's not as smooth. So adding that clear basically kind of like fill in those gaps and encapsulate the glitters just a little bit before adding my second color. And then once I get my glitters on there, I encapsulate them a little bit. I'm gonna go in with that fairy tale color and just ombre it down. It's not gonna be really low because I do still want my glitters to show, which is why they're kind of like ombreing down. Like everything is basically a big ombre, which I really like the concept of. So yeah, this bead here for my ombre was not the best, and as I get towards my pinky, like with each nail I get better and better. So yeah, I'll go ahead and let this part play out. I'll be adding on my glitter and then going in with my ombre on all of my other yellow nails. Here I'm just finishing up a little bit of my ombre on my pinky nail, and that's basically my base design for all of my nails, and this is how they are looking. Now I have to go back and encapsulate all of them, which I'm going to be using my Cara Sky Clear to just go over my nails, add a little bit of structure and protect my ombre designs and my glitter. I'm going to show 2 nails of me encapsulating. I wanted to show obviously how I'm encapsulating my ombre nails, and then I'm actually going to show my middle nail where I just got like that solid fairy tale color on there. For some reason I just really wanted you guys to see how I encapsulated, since I'm never really encapsulating like solid colors, you know, so I just decided to keep that in there. And then once you guys see me encapsulate those nails, I finish the rest off camera and we'll get straight into the filing part. For my filing, as always, I like to start off with my hand file. The hand file I'm using is, I believe this is from Temu, but I do know it's an 80/80 grit file. I love to use these when filing acrylic. It just helps file a little bit faster and get it a little bit more crispier, and definitely to my liking. So I love 80/80 grit files. I'll have these linked down below. If I forget to link these, I do have my panel files that's linked down below in my Amazon storefront, which is basically a lot of the things I buy from Amazon. If you guys are ever wondering like what items I get from Amazon, you guys can go there and just look at all of my items that I get. But yeah, whenever I'm filing with my hand file, I like to start off with the sides of my nails, make sure they are really crispy and neat. I like to go underneath my nail a little bit, and then also the free edge, of course, and on top, make sure everything is nice and even. And then I'll go in with my hand file. Today I'm using this more rounder drill bit. I should have used a new XL bits from Cara Sky, but I don't know, this one was already in there, so I wasn't really thinking to change it. But this one also works pretty well. I'm just sealing in my cuticle area and just doing some debulking to my nails. Wherever like there are humps, I'll just go over it and make it smooth with the rest of the surface. And then you'll see me going in on the sides, cleaning up the nail underneath it a little bit, like in those grooves where the acrylic just kind of went completely underneath the nail. Yeah, so once I finish doing that on all of my nails, I go back in with my hand file and my buffer. At this point, I'm using my hand file again. I did go ahead and file all of my nails using my e-file, but I did just want to show you guys I do go back in with my hand file after I use my drill. And then of course I'll go in and buff over the surface, make sure everything is nice and smooth. Wash my hands, use alcohol, whatever you decide to do to get all of the dust removed. And then now I'm going to be going back in with my buffer, because I did use like the cuticle oil method to buff over my surface. So I did make sure to wash my hands with the soap and water, and just going in with my middle finger, a little bit of an extra buff, because I noticed that doing 3D nail art works better on like a drier surface compared to like an oilier or like glossy surface. So I just really wanted to make sure like it was nice and dry. And this is the nail I'm gonna be sculpting out my little Peeps marshmallow candy, and it turned out so cute, y'all. It was just so easy to do. Whenever I pick up my bead for this, I do pick up a little bit more of a rounder bead, because I want it to have somewhat of like the shape already, so once I put it on the nail I don't have to do much work. And also letting the bead dry a little bit and set up on the brush really helps, because as you guys saw, once I put it on the nail, it didn't like run all over the place, it didn't run down the sidewalks of the nail, so that was definitely so helpful. But I did initially have to like just keep going around the bead and just kind of make it like more of that circle until it completely set up, and also just making sure that my sides aren't like really flat, because I do want this to still have that 3D look. And then for my second bead, I basically did the same thing, just letting it sit on my brush a little bit so it's not super runny when I set it down. But for my second bead, I did make sure to pick up less, because I want it to be smaller than the first bead I picked up. And then I'll just place it like right there above it, just make sure that my shape is pretty nice. And for my sides, I kind of make sure that like it's going like seeping down into the nail, so it don't just look like two complete different circles. I kind of want to work it into each other. And for the bunny ears, whenever I'm picking up my bead, I try to make sure that like it's long ways on my brush. So whenever I'm picking up my monomer, I kind of like flatten out my brush a lot, so whenever I pick up the bead, it's already in like that long length, if that makes sense. And then that way, once it's set up on the brush, it's already basically in the ear shape. And I did have a little bit too much, so before it just completely dries, you saw me remove some, and then I'll continue working the little bunny ears in the shape, also just kind of melting it into that second bead. And I did Google an inspo picture just to make sure I had like my proportions right, and you know, the sizing, the shape and everything. And see, that's basically how I did it. It was super easy, and I love the way this turned out. So while I'm working on the second ear, I'll just let you guys go ahead and watch. And that's basically how my little Peeps turned out. And here you guys see me going back in with like just a little bit of acrylic, just to kind of make sure like the little grooves where I put like my second bead down is kind of uneven. So I'm just going back in and just evening those areas out. And that's pretty much what I did to create my little Peeps, and it was so cute, so adorable. I love it. And so now next, the 3D flowers. So I am using my 3D art brush from 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍, and this was a part of their like nail art brush set. They are sold separately on the 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍 website. They'll be linked down below if you guys want to check them out. But when it comes to doing 3D flowers, I feel like it's super easy. Again, like it might seem a little difficult, but you just kind of have to try it out. And that's basically how I was when I started doing 3D flowers. I thought it was going to be so difficult, but it's rather easy. The only thing is with mine though, I feel like sometimes my proportions aren't right, or like they just seem a little bit uneven towards like the center part. But the key again to picking it up, you just want to make sure not to pick up too much monomer on the brush, not have to be like super dry either. Let it set up just how I did my little Peeps, so once you place it down, it's not running all over the surface. You're not having to like catch it or, you know, work with it too much. Let it set up and polymerize just a little bit before placing it down. And then once you place it down, I still kind of wait around a little bit. I'm not in a rush to get my bead in the petal shape. You want to let it set up as much as possible, but not too much to where you can't move it anymore. Like, that's why I say you just kind of have to like try it out and see how much you want it to set up, how well wetter beads work for you or drier beads. It's all about preference, to be honest, but how easy you can work with it being like really dry or a little bit runnier, you know, it just kind of makes sense if you are just trying it yourself. And then once it sets up to my liking, I just go in and create a little indent down the center. And as it's like setting up a little bit more, that's when I start to like press the little indent in the middle, and that's gonna give it the petal shape. However, when it comes to this brush from 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍, I feel like the brush is just like really thick, so you will see me go back and forth between, I don't know where the other brush is from, but like it has a dual ended like dotting tool on the side, so I'm pretty sure it's like one of the cheaper like brush nail art sets from Amazon. I'm just going in with that smaller brush and just going like in between the petals and pulling like the center part into a really nice point. And yeah, that's pretty much how I did my 3D flowers as well. You see me here just mimicking what I did on my index nail over on my pinky, and I am gonna do a little bit more on my thumb and ring finger, but I am gonna do those off camera because doing 3D flowers is not a quick process. Like, these things take time. You want to make sure that it's setting upright. So yeah, and I just didn't want to add too many, so I just did the rest off camera. But of course, once I finish, I'll be showing you guys how it looks. And here's how the rest of my 3D flowers look. I love that I end up doing like a full flower and then like a little half flower on my thumb and also on my ring finger. So now it's time to add on my top coat. As you guys see, I have my bling box behind me, and also this other charm box. I didn't end up using anything from the charm box. I just end up using pearls and the rhinestones. Again, this rhinestone box is from Temu. It's one of my favorites and it's been lasting me a very long time. And I love these charms. I love the different sizes. I love using the smaller ones. Those are honestly my favorite. But yeah, before we go in with any of the rhinestones, of course we have to top coat my nails. This is the part I really didn't like. Like, it took me so much time trying to get around these flowers, and I didn't want to top coat my flowers because I don't think you are supposed to top coat like the flowers like this. So I tried my best to go around it. Once I do top coat around my flowers, I'll be adding a little dot like where my center point is in my flowers, and I'll be adding on like a little rhinestone just to add like a little centerpiece. And so you guys might have already saw it, but when it came to like my index nail, I did add on some pearls. And I knew for sure I wanted to add some pearls, and usually I just do like this little scattered look throughout like the free areas of my nails, but I wanted to do something a little bit different but didn't know what to do. So I just ended up doing like this little gradient look where the sides kind of go from like bigger to smaller, coming from my flowers, and like this little curve look. And on my index nail, I liked it, but there's just like something that looked really weird about it. But for some reason, I just went ahead and popped it into the light, didn't think too much about it. And in the ending results, I actually did love how this turned out because it's super different. Something like, I don't usually do this type of pearl design, and I felt like with the flowers giving it like that spring look, it looked even better. So I really like this. And you just saw how I did it there, just going from like bigger to smaller or smaller to bigger, going in like the opposite direction, however I decided to choose for that nail. And then once I'm satisfied with how they look, I go ahead and pop it into the light. And then here you see me repeat that same process over on my pinky nail. So here, before I go in with the rest of my designs on my peeps and add like my sugaring to it, I did go ahead and add my top coat on like the base of the nails, and I went ahead and popped that into the light. Now for my sugaring on my peeps, because as you guys know, Peeps candy has like this little textured sugary look, I'm gonna go in with this sprinkle on glitter from Kara Scott, and it's called Of Quartz. And I'm also going to be using my not polished matted top coat. But before I actually went in with my matte top coat and sugaring, I did go ahead and add on the eyes using a brown gel polish, the eyes and the nose or mouth, whatever that is. It's just 3 dots, which was really easy to do. I did go ahead and cure it, and now I'm going in with my matte top coat. Once I completely cover my peeps, I'm just going to go ahead and use a cuticle pusher and just sprinkle on some of that glitter. And this was honestly the most perfect glitter to use. I'm so happy I had this because it just honestly made like my day doing this nail set. Like, this was a really fun nail set to do. After I popped that into the light, I did go ahead and brush off all of the extra glitter. And after this, we are basically done with my nails. So now I'm just going back in, adding some cuticle oil to re-nourish my cuticles. And again, this is the cuticle oil from Tones. I really love it. I really love the way it feels on my skin. It feels so nice and nourishing. And once I finish rubbing everything in, this is how the finished nails look. And I cannot tell you guys how happy I was looking at the finished process of these. Like, I was just blown away. I really love everything about them. And what made this even more special is that sometimes I do look at like inspo nails, but for this one, the only thing I looked at for inspo was the Google picture of the peeps, like just to make sure everything was nice and proportioned, make sure I have like the shape and everything right. So this made it even more special, and it made me love it even more because I wasn't like comparing it to someone else's work, whether it's like a recreation or anything. So I just fell completely in love with this. Everything I used for this design will be linked down below. Make sure that you guys turn on my post notifications so next week you will be notified whenever I upload my giveaway video. And let me know what you thought about today's set down below in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.